As athletes, we try new ways every year to build ourselves up as better players and as better people. But that's the main thing right there, is better people. So many bad habits that come from our past that we think that we need to move forward, that's not really necessary. And that's what I want to speak about today. So many lessons and so many rules and so many things to pay attention to that I want to talk to you guys about. If you don't know who I am the host of this show and this podcast, Push 100 Miles Per Hour, and my name is Ramon Clemente. Let's get into the show. Push. Yo, what's good, y'all? Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube page, also like the Facebook page. Appreciate you guys' support so much. Let's get back to the show. Push. All right, first and foremost, I want to jump straight into this, and I want to go straight to the college athletes. I want to talk to you guys real quick, especially my guys that's like from the inner cities, and they have their background, their rough backgrounds, because I was one of those players in college. I'm just keeping it real. Whatever it is that you have back in the neighborhood, leave it in the neighborhood, man. So many mistakes have been made from players that can't let their neighborhood go. Whether they have to prove something to teammates or people in the neighborhood or where they live. And I'm not talking about on the court stuff. On the court, we'll talk about that in a second. But off the court, it's so many things that we have to prove that we're tough, and where we're from is so grimy and gutter and thugged out. I was that kid. My teammates will tell you, it's not that I was just like some wild child, but I had my ignorance to me as well. Why? Because I come from something where I feel like I had to represent something, and I had to hold where I'm from down. Moving and thinking like that, man, it can ruin your college career. I don't want to say it can ruin your life, because more than likely you'll bounce back. I don't ever want you to think the end of the world happens. This is something I thought happened, but the end of the world does not happen. But like I said in the last podcast, you will live with some type of regret and think, what if? And that's what we don't want. From me to you, from being a kid when I was in college, thinking I had to move around like that, you honestly don't have to move like that. You have nothing to prove. And the reason why, everything that was done in the neighborhood, leave that in the neighborhood, man. People are proud of you. Understand the people from the block and the homies and all of that, as much as you think they want you to do that and you're proving something to them, when people tell you they're proud of you, they're happy that you made it from a place where everyone else is from and where they're from. They're happy for you. Why take these steps back to end right back where you started? Why be the person in a conversation where people are whispering and saying like, he messed up? And I'm not saying people depend on you, because that's just selfish to think everyone thinks that. You got kids that look up to you. There's a lot that comes with this. And more than anything of thinking you represent your neighborhood by being the toughest guy in the room, you represent your neighborhood by succeeding. You represent your neighborhood by moving forward. You know why? Because you give your neighborhood a tally mark of someone that made it. You give your neighborhood a tally mark of someone that succeeded from, and you give everybody hope. I look at old rappers and basketball players and stuff from my neighborhood, and I always think with the mentality, these people are from Queens, New York. So if they made it, I know I can make it. And that's the tally mark that they put. So a kid like me growing up, I think I can make it. When no one make it from your area, it's hard to think I can do this. They think, I have to do what this person did, for the fact that this is just what it is. This is the highest tier that we've seen. And this dude was bugging out. So to those college players that's at their school, and I've done stupid stuff, fighting and all type of stuff that, man, coaches probably don't even know what I did. And I'm not saying, like I said, once again, I wasn't just wilding out like that. I wasn't doing extra stupid stuff, but I was doing, young guy stuff that could have possibly got me kicked out of school. Being extra. Leave that in the neighborhood, man. It's over with. You made it out. That's the first step of making it out. And we're not even talking about the whole NAIA thing where you can make your money and stuff. You have chances to really make money now while you're in college. It wasn't like that for me. I had to get it after. But now you have a chance to change your life while in college. Yo, why even put yourself in that situation? One of the hardest parts, especially if you're from the hood, one of the hardest parts is done. If you're a scholarship player, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, if you're a scholarship player, or if you're not, if you're away from home, you gave your family and your parents less of a headache and less of a responsibility. You don't understand how major and big that is, man. You put yourself in a situation where someone doesn't have to worry about you because they know that you're doing better. They know you're doing positive. And you're possibly out there gambling that. For what? To prove what? Let me tell you something. I've been playing pro for 15 years, right? Which means I've been out of college for 15 years. I've been playing pro. There's not that many people that I talk to from college that I try to prove myself to. Maybe 95% of the people I try to prove that I was tough to, I don't speak to anymore. And that's just me keeping it real. But bigger than that, the people from my neighborhood, I've never got congratulated for being a tough guy and wilding out. And I'm not saying lose your edge on the basketball court. I'm not saying that. You got to keep your edge. Whatever it is and however you do it, don't be stupid and throw punches and stuff. I'm not saying that. But I'm not telling you to lose your edge at the same time. That's what got me through my career. Not only just college, but my career. And the thing for me, not to just talk about me, but I have to use myself as an example. My mentality was someone's trying to take food off my plate. Someone's trying to send me back to the neighborhood. So I had to keep the edge and have the mentality like nobody's pushing me off this block. But all of the extra dumb stuff that you're doing off the court, things that you know you're not supposed to be doing, like what are we doing here? Seriously, what are we doing here? You know? So to my players that's in college, man, and high school guys too, that's away in prep schools as well, you can take this information as well. Yo, think before you make moves, man. Please think before you make moves, because you will live with a lot of regret in your life. And me as a big homie, if you're watching this and you listen to this, take my words of advice. I've seen a lot of people ruin their careers, man, doing stupid stuff, making bad choices, making bad mistakes. I took gambles. Where I was this close to getting kicked out of school twice. Yo, please do not forget to subscribe to the podcast on all platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Google, like we're on everything. Whatever has a platform for podcasts, just type in push 100 miles per hour and we'll pop up. Please subscribe, comments, all that, man. I appreciate you guys' support so much. Push. I have a question to some of you young athletes out there that seek validation in the sidelines, the people back in the neighborhood with just opinions, the people on social media with just random comments and the oohs and the ahs. Why are you seeking that validation? I want to have a real conversation with you. And I want to talk about the validation that you seek from people. And I'm not saying that their opinions don't count and it doesn't matter. But when it comes to whatever sport that you're doing, it doesn't matter, yo. You want to know the opinions that matter? Coaches, general managers, ADs. That's it. Scouts, agents. That's the only opinions that matter. Some of you are getting caught up in what people on the outside are saying just for oohs and ahs to say that, yo, he's nice, he's cold, he's tough, or he's trash. He can't cut it. He's not good enough. Those sideline opinions, I promise you, take it from me. It means absolutely nothing. If it came to sideline opinions, I wouldn't have a quarter of the career that I have. The reason why, because everybody doesn't see me as the best player. But those GMs, those ADs, those coaches, those agents, all of the people that I mentioned that count, that matters, they seen something different. Why? Because this is what they do. They see an investment of what can make their team better. Not the oohs and ahs because somebody said so and Jeffrey got the crazy handles and he can drop people, or oh boy can dunk every, like that stuff don't mean nothing, man. It has absolutely nothing to do with the game. Sideline opinions mean nothing. So all that validation that you're seeking, yo, listen, work on your game. Work on your game and work on what matters and work on what counts. What's going to impress these scouts? What's going to impress these people who their opinions matter? That should be your only focus when it comes with this. I was one of the players, man, growing up that I didn't have the oohs and ahs. Very, very, very late bloomer when it came to this game. The only thing that kept me going with this game of basketball was the love for it. If I would have left it in the hands of the people that were judging me, I promise I would have walked away. I really would have walked away from the game of basketball because I've been told so many times, Ramon, you trash. Even as a grown adult professional player, yo, he's whack, he ain't like that, whatever it is. But the only thing that mattered to me was, yo, coach, what do you think? What should I work on? Where do I need help at? If you're out there, you're going hard and you're giving all of these things count, man. Everybody can't go out there and be Steph Curry. Everybody can't go out there and be LeBron James. Everybody can't go out there and be a Mahomes. Everybody can't go out there and be a Messi. That's just how it works. You still need these other pieces and you can master these things. So when you have the validation of all these people of, because their cousin is probably good or it's the coldest kid in the neighborhood, I've seen all of that. And when they step on that floor, when those people are not there, when those people are not on that court in those practices and all of those things, when the grit comes, it's a whole different ball game. Forget what they're supposed to do that. They're supposed to hype these people up. Those people that you seek validation from, they're going to pick their favorites, whether they're good or not sometimes at some points, but that has absolutely nothing to do with you. So some of you kids are out there killing your dreams based off oohs and ahs. Who's getting the most likes? Who has the most comments? You see a lot of these kids, man. They get a lot of hype coming up with the comments and the attention and all these things. But once they get to the level where it counts, where the oohs and ahs mean nothing, and all of that celebration and all the likes and the attention means nothing, and you get in those lines, and you really have to go get it with those dogs out there, those people that really put in work, it's a whole different conversation. So don't get caught up. Please do not get caught up in all of this extra stuff because it means nothing. Likes and comments cannot save you on that court. Your cousin hyping you up can't save you on the court. A highlight reel cannot save you on the court between those lines. So please, don't get caught up in that. I promise you, do not get caught in that. To the kids, especially in their early years, like around the teenage years, even a little bit before, even high school, all of that. If you're just one of these young kids out here and you're trying to figure out the game, don't get caught up in that cool crowd. Don't get caught up in trying to figure out how can you fit in with these people. There's levels as you develop. There's a lot of kids where they're here and they get so comfortable because they're here and everyone else is here, and they stop working on their game. But as you get older, everything grows. The work ethic has to continue. There's so many stories you can YouTube where people just stop, where they reach their peak. So to get laughed at on the side, I promise you, man, I've been laughed at a lot. Once again, I've been laughed at a lot. I wasn't the most talented, but I kept working. And still to this day, I'm not sitting here making it seem like I'm the LeBron James of overseas. Nah, I'm just a player that works hard. So I don't want to get that twisted. But the fact that people hit their peak at certain points and you have to keep working. Even if you're here, you have to keep working because there's tiers. All right, cool. On this first tier of junior high school, maybe you're here and this kid is here. But high school come. He might come down a little bit. You're working. You might get here. College comes. Hey, you feel what I'm saying? So this is just how it comes. This is how it goes when it comes to this basketball and sports. Sorry, I don't want to keep saying basketball, but in sports in general, this is what comes with it as you grow and block out any outside noise. I promise you, once again, I am a walking testament. Cut from high school basketball team. First, I think I said this early in the podcast, but this is a visual and everybody didn't hear my story, but just real quick. High school, Mr. Washington at John Bell High School, man. We tried out. Mr. Washington read the list. He said, if I did not say your name, please take your stuff and go home. He read the whole list of names. I went over to Mr. Washington. Did you say Ramon Clemente? He said, did you hear your name? I said, no. He said, well, grab your stuff and get out of here, son. Bro, ripped my heart out my chest, but I did not stop working. And I'm not trying to be that guy to sound arrogant or anything like that, but not one dude on that team had my career. Not one. I think the closest person that had a career better than mine for sure was Hami Diallo. He went to John Bell for like a year or two. 100%. I can't even touch what he did. But outside of that, from what I've known, I don't know anyone from that school that had my career. And this is not me being cocky or arrogant, but the fact that I kept working, I didn't let that stop me. Even the coach saying, Ramon, you're cut. But that's a whole nother story of how I got to college and pros and all that. That's a whole nother story. But more than anything, I kept working. I didn't quit on myself. I didn't care about people laughing at me. I didn't care about a coach cutting me. I didn't let anything stop me. And there's so many kids that stop their dreams because they let the opinions of others tear them down. It's easy for somebody to say like, yo, you trash. Just like him saying, yo, Ramon, you're not good enough. I could have easily wrapped it up and said, all right, cool, this isn't for me. Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, yo, this isn't for me. But I'm thankful that I had my part. I was able to go play ball with my friends all the time. And I was continuing to learn the game because I loved it. So if you really love this sport, man, you got to keep working because there's tears. I didn't hit my peak. That's all it was. I wasn't good enough in high school. At that time, I was not good enough as a basketball player to make the team. But as I got older, man, growing into my body, learning the game more, loving the game more, all of these things count. Remember I said with those tears, those dudes in the high school, they probably had me here. But as we go freshman, sophomore, things got different, man. And things got real scary. And you can be that person as well, but you got to grind. And you got to block these people out. Like I said, once again, it's a must, man. And you have to believe in yourself. Forget about being cool. Forget the cool. I don't care if anyone, I probably had my dad that believed in me and probably Coach Steve, man. That's me being real with you. And then later on, as I grew, people started to believe in me more and more. Coach Steve and my pops. That's just me keeping it real with you. It was two people that really believed in me, man. And Coach Steve really gave me a chance. The hood loved me and all that other thing, all that other stuff. But even then, it was like I was up. They didn't even believe. I didn't think I was going to get like this, I was a park player. That's just what it is. But that's from me to you to keep grinding and please block out this outside noise, man. I'm going to close out this episode singing this. And this podcast is for the young athletes. And if it's outside of sports, if you can apply this to your life, then perfect. It makes everything easier. I speak like this not to sound cool. I don't talk on this podcast to get cool clips, to go viral or anything like that. I'm not going to talk about anything that I've never experienced. When I tell you I wasn't the most talented, I mean that. But the one thing that carried me through getting my associate's degree playing JUCO, getting my bachelor's degree playing at a Division I, playing professional basketball for 15 years and counting, was just working, man. Now, from me to you, times are different right now. I'm probably 100% sure, I don't know what age you are, but I'm probably 100% sure you are more talented than me at the time. Whatever age you're at, you are probably more talented than me, than what I was at that age. Why can't you surpass of anything that I've done? And all I did was work hard. All I did was work hard. It was not skill-based at all. I was raw material just figuring the game out as I grew and as I went. You know, if you're a player that likes to be in the gym, if you're a player that likes to study the game, all you have to do is continue. It doesn't matter if you fail. It doesn't matter if you have a bad game. It doesn't matter if you don't get the scholarship that you want. Keep working. Opportunities come out of nowhere when you least expect it. Sometimes it's a little bit of luck, but most of the time it's making the right choices, doing the right thing. Yo, I promise you, I've gotten contracts just off being a good guy to be in the locker room, man. The basketball came with it. I'm not saying I was just sitting around, but just being a good person carries you in these sports. Just being a good, because who wouldn't want a good guy in the locker room? You know? And from there, you can prove yourself from there on the court. But the first thing is being in the room. And speaking of being in the room, if I'm a person that just work hard and I've stepped in the room with the best of them, and I mean the best of them, NBA, MVPs, All-Stars, all of that, at a pro level, if I can do this, why can't you? Seriously, why can't you be that person? Why can't you go get you a scholarship? Why can't you be a professional player? Why can't you have the experience, man, of getting out the neighborhood? What's the difference between me and you? You have the skills. And if you don't, like you're here, it's different now. You got trainers, you got YouTube videos to teach you the game, all of that. I just went to the park and played pickup and figured it out. So what's the difference between me and you? Why can't you do it? There's no excuse. There's no excuse at all. If you really want this, you'll put in the work for it. And no excuses. No excuses around it at all. Man, I love to come here to talk to the youth because I know where I was at as a kid. I was very lost and troubled and trying to figure it out, man, trying to figure my next move. So the fact that I can sit here and I can, do my podcast and talk on the camera to you guys, it means everything, man. It means everything, especially if you listening and you taking in the information as I'm giving it, I don't want to drag the podcast out, but to close out this podcast, once again, if I can do it as just a raw player from the neighborhood, there's no excuse why you can't. There's gyms everywhere. There's trainers everywhere. There's YouTube on the phone. There's no excuse why you cannot work on your game and why you can't put yourself in situations. Those people out there don't mean nothing. Even the ones that's hyping you up and bigging your head up. Don't get caught up in that, man. That can be an ego killer because you can think you're really that. And you might be the best person in the room, but you have to go to a different room as your career goes on. And things are different. Don't get too big-headed where you think you don't need to work on your game. Don't get too lost in all of the hype thinking you just that. Because there's somebody out there that's working 10 times harder than you, man. And they want that name. I don't want to curse on here, but you know what I mean? They want to get at you. So keep moving forward, man. Don't let that never too high, never too low. People that down you, that stuff don't mean nothing. Opinions mean nothing. Like I said, if I went based off opinions of what other people think, I wouldn't even be playing basketball. I probably wouldn't even be dribbling the ball. I'd just be some tall dude just walking around. Hey, if you don't know who I am the host of the show on this podcast, Pushing 100 Miles Per Hour, and my name is Ramon Clemente. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. Push.